Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video, which is the last part of my YouTube series in which I show you how to plan and craft an 8x8-inch mini album. And in case you haven't watched the first parts, I would first definitely recommend to do so, but I also want to mention here that I'm using a digital paper collection along with my new digital mini album planner. And using this new tool I created, I can easily plan the decorations and structure of my album and then also prepare all my papers for printing, which is especially great if you're working with the digital collection. So in the first two parts, I already showed you how I decorated the album cover as well as the first 7 double pages. So for today's video, there are only 4 more pages left and I will show you exactly how I decorate them with the digital mini album planner. And then at the end of this video, I will show you what the finished pages look like. So let's continue with double page number 8, and as always I start by first choosing the interactive page style I want to use. And I decided to go with page style number 6, which is a more easy page style with a ribbon closure, and as you may know, I have 2 options available for most of my page styles. So you have the landscape and the portrait option, and I'm going with option number 2. And for this page, I already knew which pattern paper I want to use because there is a pattern paper I really love. It's this black pattern paper with all the characters from Alice in Wonderland on there. So I started by dragging in this paper onto the basic page on the left side, and then from there I went on and decorated my interactive page style. So as you can see, I'm just trying out some of the pink basic pattern papers and solid papers from the collection, but then I'm later on actually changing this paper to my own basic pattern paper, as you will see in a minute. But for now, I left it like this and just tried out some combinations. And then there's not really a journaling card I want to use on this double page. So this double page is supposed to be like Alice arriving in Wonderland with all the different characters here. So what I wanted to do instead is I wanted to use the phrase "we are all met" here. So first I just grabbed a scallop frame and then I laid it onto my interactive element on my interactive page style, and that's where I can place my text box. And as I did for the previous pages, I'm just grabbing the text box from one of the pages I already decorated, because here I have those 2 fonts I want to use because they go really well with the collection, and then I can just type in the text I want to use. And as said, I did not fully like the basic pattern papers with the dots here from the collection, so I wanted to create my own pattern paper, even though I also chose a paper with dots. So this is a template. I can now change the colors off, and the dots are like more randomly arranged. And these basic pattern paper templates are still some of my favorite features in this planner, so I use them quite often. And what I did here is I first changed one of the colors, so the background color, to green, and then for the dots I wanted to use green as well, but in a darker shade, so I could just choose the same color and then just make it a little darker. And then I decided to also add this pattern paper to the background of the interactive element, but this time in different colors. So I actually changed the colors here to blush pink and this cream color. And then for this page style, I had a very fun idea I wanted to try out. And this is something you could only do when using a digital paper collections. And I mean, there's so many different reasons for why using a different paper collections along with this planner is such a game changer. And I absolutely love it. But yeah, for this page style, I thought that it would be fun to actually print some characters onto the papers, but yeah, print them on different papers. So you will see what I mean by that in a minute. But first off, I have to say that these 2 collections by Echo Park, which are called Alice in Wonderland No.1 and No.2, are really beautiful collections, and the digital collections come with so many different ephemera pieces or digital stickers, and there are a lot of these characters included in those stickers. But then for some of the characters, they actually don't come as like PNG files, so I could use them as a sticker, but I can actually grab them from this pattern paper. And that's something I can do by using the Magic Grab tool. And this is a Canva Pro feature. So unfortunately, it's not included in the free Canva subscription. But again, there are so many different things and so many other things you could do when only having the Canva free subscription, which are also just great. But in case you have the Canva Pro subscription, this tool is absolutely amazing. So as you can see, I could just grab those two images from the pattern paper, and now I can use them as a sticker on my interactive element. And as you can see, I actually placed them the way that they would overlap the edge of the interactive element, which is a flap. So I'm printing the green pattern paper in the background individually from the white dotted pattern paper. So what I have to do now is I have to print half of the character onto the green pattern paper and then the other half on my white or cream pattern paper. So as you can see, to do that, I just have to trim down the character and then make a copy, lay it on top on the already trimmed down piece, and then again trim down the other half of this character. And again, I will show you the results, so the finished pages at the end of this video, so you can see how this turned out. But I think it's a really fun way of making use of these digital possibilities you have in this planner with a digital paper collection. And with that, we can continue with creating our double page number 9. And again, I'm first choosing my interactive page style I want to use on here. Now for this double page, I decided to use my interactive page style number 33, and this is a beautiful page style with 2 tag pockets and 2 tags inside. And on this double page, I wanted to highlight the tea party Alice is having in Wonderland, and there are actually a lot of different ephemera pieces or stickers included in this collection with the tea party theme. So I knew that I wanted to create my own journaling cards on these tag pockets. So I started by first just choosing a simple background color, which is this cream color again. And then I had a look at all the different sticker options I have in both collections. And the first ephemera piece I grabbed is this tag or journaling card here, which is beautiful on its own. So I could have totally just dragged it onto my tag pocket, but I decided to actually just use the character here. And for this, again, I used the Magic Grab tool to actually grab it from the paper. And then I just placed it to the left side of my tag pocket because as you can see, it's not like the full character, the leg is cut off. So I definitely wanted this to be at the edge as well. So that's what I did here. And then I continued by adding the next ephemera piece. And this, of course, had to be Alice holding her teacup. And first I thought my option would be to grab it from this card here. So again, using the Magic Grab tool, or actually I used the background remover because it worked as well for this image. But then I just double checked and I actually found the Alice in Wonderland sticker, exactly the same sticker in the first collection. So for those two collections, some of the images are exactly the same, and then you just have to have a look at all the different ephemera piece options. So yeah, this time you could totally have done this style with the Canva free subscription because there is no additional tool needed. And then I just placed her on the right side of the second tag pocket. And for some reason, I flipped the image. I could have totally left it as it is as well. But this is also just at your toolbar. So you can just go to flip. And sometimes I feel it really makes sense, especially if you want your characters to like face each other. Then this is a great way of doing that. So yeah, I just flipped her and then I positioned her in the position I wanted her to be. And then next to the image of Alice, I wanted to add some text. And for this, I first again grabbed one of my scallop frames. You know, I love using these scallop frames, and sometimes I'm going to cut them out, and then sometimes I will just print them out, which I'm actually doing with this page style here. So yeah, I just positioned the scallop frame behind Alice, and then I added my text box by just copying it from the previous page and then changing the text. And I actually changed it to, would you like an adventure now, or shall we have some tea first? So again, this is a quote I found on one of the journaling cards included in this collection. And then I just use my own fonts here because I'm not a big fan of all like the very colorful quotes and journaling cards in this collection. So I rather want to create my own. And yeah, again, this is something you can easily do with this planner and with a digital collection. And it's again so much fun. You can be totally creative. So yeah, I love creating my own journaling cards. After I had placed my text box in the right position, I then just changed the background color of this text box to this more pink color. And then I also changed the font color to green. And then I felt like something small is missing in the left corner of this text box. So I wanted to add this little mouse sticker, which is also holding its teacup. So that's what I placed in the left corner here. And as I said, this time I'm actually going to print out this scallop frame right onto the journaling card instead of cutting it out, because cutting it out would have also meant that I had to cut out Alice and the mouse individually as stickers to then glue onto the cutout frame. So yeah, I didn't want to bother with that. So instead, I just wanted to print it as a whole journaling card. And that's why I also changed the color of the frame to green. And as you can see, I also changed the background color behind the tag pockets to the same greenish color. And then for the right page, I actually used one of the basic pen and papers, which I had also created myself for previous pages. So I just grabbed it from my uploads and added it here. And this is this beautiful pink plate paper. And as I said, there are so many different cute illustrations for the tea party. So I definitely wanted to add some more ephemera pieces. So I decided to use another of my decorative elements, which are included in this planner. And this I have already used in this album, but yeah, I wanted to use it here as well. So this is something you could just add to a basic page. It's not very interactive and it's not very heavy. So yeah, as you may know, I only like to add my heavy interactive page styles to the basic page. And then for these additional page flips I just add some like frames, or in this case, I would add this and use it as a tuck spot if I want to tuck something behind. But this is definitely a very great interactive element to add some more stickers here, because you have this frame with the three circled cutouts, and then you can add whatever you want on here. So what I did is I grabbed all the stickers I wanted to use on here, or I could use on here, and I grabbed them all at once, because then I can just select them all at once and make them smaller, because once you have opened your stickers, they open in a very large format, which is kind of annoying, but yeah, I find it easier to open more than just one and then just adjust the sizes after. And then I just arranged them to those circled cutouts. So you want to make sure that they're on the correct layer, so behind the frame, but on the cutouts. So yeah, that's what I did. I just changed the sizes, and then I also rotated them if I liked the style better. And then for this like cake and cupcake holder here, I actually tried to first just cut it down, because I thought, okay, you don't really need the magic grab tool here, because you can probably just trim it down, because it also has this like cream color in the background I want to use anyway. And first I thought it wouldn't work because, as you can see, you still have some of the corners from the frame left on the top here. But I don't want to use it on a square format, so it's totally fine. As you can see, you can just place it behind the frame. So again, it's important to have it on the correct layer, and then you would only see the image of the cakes and the cups and the cupcakes here. And then for the teapot, I decided this would be fun to have this right above the teacups, so as it would like pour in some tea into those cups. So I just switched the positions here, and I actually decided to place this teacup overlapping the frame. So this is something I can totally do because I'm actually going to print this whole image as just one paper. But if I were to cut and print all these pieces individually, so the frame as well as the background with the images, then of course I have to keep in mind that I need to also use my print and cut with my Cameo digital cutting machine and actually cut out the teacup as an individual sticker to then place on top here. I hope that makes sense, but you probably saw it in the first part of this series where I designed my interactive page style #1, because that's where I also used this decorative element but cut out the pieces individually. And then I also added the text Tea Party here, and as you can see, I actually used one of the text effects which you could use to just change the background to a different color. And yeah, I really like the style of this. And then I was inspired by the hearts on the teacups on the bottom, so I also wanted to add some hearts to here, and this is kind of like, I feel like they come from the teacup as the tea would come from the teacup. So yeah, I really like this style. And I just grabbed those hearts from the teacups, but I could have totally also find some red hearts in the Canva library, which includes a lot of different elements for free users as well as for pro users. And that's something I will show you when I show you how I decorated my last double page. And then the last thing I added or actually changed for this double page is I changed the green solid color here to another one of my pattern papers, and I decided to use this green pattern paper with the white dots on there. And then I was really happy with this double page. And again, I'm not showing you the full process. I have to cut down my process of decorating a double page. And this double page definitely took me quite some time because I was trying a lot of different options. So now let's continue with the next double page. And I actually, as I said, found that there are so many different beautiful tea party themed images and also journaling cards in this collection included, that I definitely wanted to do a second double page for the tea party. And I just chose this simple page style, which is my page style #3, and it just includes a photo mat which you can swing to the top. And I especially love this pattern paper with all the teacups and teapots on there. And that's the first paper I added. I just added it to the background of my interactive element. And then from here, I had another look at all the ephemera pieces to find an illustrations I really want to use. And there is actually another illustration of the Mad Hatter holding a teacup as well. So I knew that I wanted to include this one. And sometimes you really have to be careful with the ephemera pieces you want to use and how much you want to enlarge them. But for the Echo Park collections, as well as the collections from Simple Stories and Cartabella and American Crafts, I find that these stickers can be used in quite a large format, so definitely larger than they would like come in the physical collection. But then sometimes you have to look at the options, because for these illustrations of the Mad Hatter, I found that the sticker for some reason got a little pixelated when I zoomed in, and zooming in might not be the best way of figuring out how pixelated it would be to print out. So I would always recommend to double check when printing, before printing your paper. So when actually having your papers being prepared for print, printing and export it as a PDF file. But sometimes you can really tell in the planner, oh, this looks a little pixelated, and then I'm checking for the same illustrations if it is included on the journaling cards, because especially for the pen and papers, which are also include the journaling cards, you can make them really large. And as you can see, it looks much better. It's not as pixelated. So yeah, instead of using the sticker here, I actually used the illustration from the journaling card. But unfortunately, it was not the whole image. So on the journaling card, the arm of the Mad Hatter was cut off. So I again had to place it to the side of the element I wanted it to be on. So that's what I did here. I also tried out if I like it this way or if I would like it flipped. But yeah, I decided to just add it to the side, and then I wanted to add some more things to actually fill all this empty space on the left here. But sometimes if I don't know immediately what I want to add here, I actually continue with doing the other page on this double page, because this sometimes gives me some inspiration for what to add on here. And because I just used a very simple interactive page style on the right side, I thought that I could add a decorative element, including two pockets with two text inside as well on the left side. So again, these are not page styles, but they are like interactive elements which are also more flat than very dimensional, but they add a really nice touch to a basic page. And for decorating those pockets, I first just added some text by again copying the text box from a previous page and changing the background, and then changing the text to actually match this double page. And then I added those teacups again because I just love the sticker. So yeah, I know I have already included it on the previous page, but it doesn't matter. I wanted it to be on here as well. And then I also added these hearts I used on the previous page as well. But this time, as I said, I actually was looking for hearts to use in the Canva library. And as you can see, there are so many different hearts. And all the images, like with the crown, are for Canva Pro users, but you still have a lot of options for for the Canva free subscription. And sometimes with these elements, you can even change the colors. This is not always the case, but for the hearts I picked here, which are actually free hearts to use, I actually could also change the color, and then I could just add them to my pockets here. Once I was happy with the arrangement, I again got inspired by the teacups, but this time it's not for the hearts, but for the pattern on the top teacup, because I thought this looks like a pattern which I also included in my basic pattern paper templates. So yeah, that's what I used here, and then I changed the colors to exactly match the colors of the teacup, and then I could just use it for the background paper and also rotate it so that it would look more like the pattern on the teacup. And then for the interactive element on the right side, I actually went with the same idea I already used on the previous page. So what I did here is I grabbed this teapot and then I added some hearts as well, so that it would look like the teapot is pouring some tea or hearts into the cup of the Mad Hatter. And then, of course, I had to include a scallop frame somewhere, and I wanted to show you an option for adding a scallop frame, which I also love when using a digital paper collection and this planner, because I thought it would be fun to actually add the frame on the basic pattern paper for the background on the right side, but have it being the frame for the journaling card. You know what I mean? So I will just show you, and then of course I will show you the results in the end, and that's where you can properly see what I mean by that. So I actually added this frame on the basic pattern paper in the background behind my interactive element. So now when you swing your interactive element to the top to reveal the photo would be placed on this printed frame. Now I'm going to show you how I decorated the last two double pages in this album. So this is double page number 11. And for this double page, because it's actually the back side of one of my basic pages and then the inside of the album back cover, I can actually include not one but two interactive page styles. And the page styles I chose are the page style number 28, and then of course I also had to include my interactive page style number 1. To be honest, there are not many albums I created without using this page style because I think it's a beautiful page style, especially to include on the inside of the front or back cover. And I wanted this double page to be all about the Queen of Hearts, so I knew that I wanted to include some stickers from the collection Alice in Wonderland No.2 actually. So that's where I found those two ephemera pieces here. And then I just adjusted the sizes of those two characters and placed them on my interactive page style number 28. And then I couldn't really find matching pen and paper in the collection, so I decided to again create my own pen and papers. And I actually have used these plate pen and papers quite a lot in this album, but I think they would go really well with the collection, and especially with the characters here on this double page. I thought it would be nice to just create another plate pen and paper, and I actually changed the colors to a cream white and then a red color. I then changed the color of the heart to this like green gold color, and I actually really like that the magnet closure on this page style is a heart by default. Sometimes I'm going to change it to another frame or another shape, but for this double page it's actually very fitting that it's a heart. And then I actually did another one of those plate pattern papers, and this time I changed the red color or like the main color to this green color as well. And then for this bottom pocket here, I tried out one of the other pattern papers from the collection, which I thought would fit quite well. And with the colors, it would be a perfect match. But for some reason, I didn't really like it. I thought it's too much with all the florals on here. So instead, I changed it to red, and I actually picked up the correct red shade from the dress of the queen. And then I was thinking to add some more on the bottom here. So I was actually first thinking to add some stickers from the collection. But then again, I looked at the journaling cards or the characters here and got inspired by the hearts on the dress of the queen. So I wanted to do a little like decorative element on the bottom of the pocket by also adding these hearts in a row and back them onto some pink paper. And for the hearts, I again checked the Canva library to find a beautifully shaped heart because I wanted this heart to look more like a painted heart. So yeah, I found this one, and then I could also change the color to the right reddish color matching the background. And I just got the idea and I'm creating this border when making this double page. But I'm thinking to actually include these borders as templates to the mini album planner as well in the future, because I think they're really fun to use on a lot of different pages. And you could actually use them along with a scallop border, which I will add in a minute. So in case you got the mini album planner already, always make sure to check the original template link for getting these free updates. So every time I have a new idea for something to include in the planner, you will just get them for free. So yeah, as you can see, I just added those hearts in different sizes, and then I also used the frame option on the toolbar to add this greenish frame because now it looks exactly like the stripes or like the strip on the dress of the queen. So yeah, it matches very well and I'm really happy with the results. However, I also wanted to include a scallop frame, or not a scallop frame, but a scallop border to behind just to separate this strip from the rest of the page. And I actually cut out this scalloped border here because I really like to have some dimension to my pages sometimes. But I could, of course, also have just printed out this whole strip with a scallop border on my pattern paper. And with that, I had finished my last double page in this album. And now we can have a closer look at how these pages turned out. So that's what the first double page I created in this part of the series looks like, and I really like how it turned out. I didn't do any changes, I just printed out the papers how I digitally planned them, and I really like the style of the characters being on two separate papers, and yeah, I'm just happy with how it turned out. And the same goes for the next double page. I absolutely love how it turned out. It's probably one of my favorite pages in this album because I just love all the tea party elements. And this double page, as I said, took me quite some time. And yeah, I'm quite happy with the results. The only thing I added here is some enamel dots. And then, as you can see, I also changed the shape of the text. As I said in my previous video, I really want to include this like more fancy text shape to the mini album planner once I have created them in different sizes. Now on the next double page, I actually did some changes because I noticed that there's still some like empty space next to the mat headers. So what I did here is I just added another scallop frame and I printed out this journaling card, "You are magical," to actually fit on here. And then I also added an enamel dot to the bow tie of the mat header as well. On the last double page, I just added some enamel dots to the corners of those two interactive elements, and then I also changed the heart shape. So I actually had this like randomly shaped heart in my die cutting stash. So I used a die cut instead of my die cutting machine, and then I also, as I said, cut out the scallop border for the pocket and glued it onto the bottom of the pocket. Now that's it for today's video, which again was the last part of my YouTube series. But of course, I will also show you the finished album in a separate video. So this will be a project share video with all the pages attached inside of the album. And I also added some add-on styles to the album. So that's something you will see in this project share as well. So I just created some tags and other interactive add-on styles to place into pockets as well as behind text spots. And I'm actually super excited for this project share because this was my first album I made using only digital paper collections and printing all the papers myself. And with that being said, I hope that you enjoyed watching this series. And if you did, as always, I would love to get your feedback in the comments and leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching. And I would also very much appreciate if you subscribe to my channel if you enjoy watching my videos, because this really helps my channel to grow, and I'm also very close to reaching 7,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And then I'm hoping you're having a great day, and I would love to see you in my next video. Bye!